Hey cats, what's happening? We have been tagged to do a little video.
A travel Q&A.
A travel question and answer. So there's a number of questions that we have been tagged to answer.
And we've been tagged by Brad and Maggie from Wanderland Travelers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we enjoy watching their videos. Apparently they watch ours and they put us on this list. So we're going to go through the set of questions and we are going to come up with some answers. Number one.
Do you like to travel alone or in a group?
Well, that's a good question. Myself speaking, I'm pretty independent. I like to do my own thing. And I've had a lot of experience in traveling with groups, and now we don't mind meeting people, our fans and stuff out on the road and doing little, weekend things, but
we do have some friends that we camp with, but usually it's just you and I. We don't do really any group type thing.
We really enjoy our independence, though.
But we don't mind meeting up with friends and camp occasionally with them, but most of the time it's just Mark and myself.
Right.
And a lot of times for us it's not planned ahead, it's a spur of the moment thing, so it would be hard to plan with a group.
Question number 2.
What is the most difficult trip and or hike you have been on to date?
Well, Vi and I do a lot of hiking. Before I met her, I did a lot of, a lot more serious hiking. I think one of the most difficult hikes I've ever been on is summiting Long's Peak, the highest mountain in the Colorado Rocky Mountain range. It was a very challenging hike. One of the more memorable ones that I did was with my brothers when we hiked 30 miles into the wilderness in Canada on the north shore of Lake Superior. It was called Pucksaw National Park. That trail was very rugged, and it starts out, you have to go across this big suspension bridge that goes across the White River, and it's like a gorge. So the suspension bridge is really high, and when you look down, you'll see like whitewater rapids way down there, like it's a long way down. And the suspension bridge is one of those ones that kind of undulate when you walk on it. So a lot of hikers will get like halfway across and just freeze up in fear because they're hanging onto the cables and the bridge is like wiggling. And once you get on the other side of that, though, the trail kind of gets more and more primitive to where it was even hard to follow at times. But we saw moose and we could hear the wolves howling at night, and it was very, very challenging. We were doing, about 12 miles a day, and it was really rugged hiking.
I'm not quite as worldly as you, so my hiking has been limited to local places other than the Adirondacks, but the most difficult one for me was in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park when all of a sudden I couldn't walk. At the time I didn't know I had a bad hip. It was bone on bone. And I thought Mark was going to have to carry me out of there. We were deep in on the hike and probably had a mile or two yet to go. And I was in tears, crying, and he didn't know what to do. He said, "Get on my back."
I honestly thought I was going to have to carry her back out.
It hurt so
She couldn't
bad.
hardly take one more step. And
I did make it out, though. I did make it out.
Yeah. That was a challenge.
Yeah, that was a hard one. Next question. What outdoor activities do you do during the winter?
I don't know. Outdoor activities? We're not into outdoor or sporting activities in the winter. We don't ski or...
But winter doesn't keep us inside either.
No.
I have taken an umbrella and I have hiked 4 miles in the rain. We've hiked in 25-degree snowy weather and made snow angels.
Yeah, so
But we really don't ski or snowboard or anything
Yeah,
like
I'd say
that.
that's our biggest outdoor activity. Is just hiking.
Right.
Being out there.
What is the most beautiful sleeping place so far?
The most beautiful sleeping place. One of my most favorite places in the United States is the Grand Tetons. And when I rode my motorcycle out west, I camped at Jenny Lake, and there was the lake, and there was the Tetons in the background, and it was the most awe-inspiring, gorgeous place I think I've ever slept in my life. How about you?
Well, seeing as the first time I ever tent camped was with you at Mammoth Cave, I would have to say that was pretty exciting for me. And then the next place would be Salt Fork State Park.
Mm-hmm.
The sky was so full of stars, I could have leaned back in the chair and just spent the night right in that chair.
Yeah, the stars were just amazing that night. We sat by the campfire, but we looked up and oh, yeah.
If I hadn't been afraid that there's really a Sasquatch, I probably would have stayed in the chair. Next question. Have you ever been seriously injured in the outdoors?
I don't know. I seriously injured? Well, I tore my rotator cuff last year throwing firewood into my truck, but the only other thing I can think of is when I was really young and we were tobogganing, and I was in an accident on the sled hill. I was thrown off the back of the toboggan, and a kid was coming down the hill on a sled, and he jumped off his sled and he slid like he was sliding into first base, and I was the first base plate, so he hit me square in the lower back with his knee and pretty much paralyzed me from the waist down. And it was awful. So fortunately I was only out of commission for a couple days, and the doctor said it was just torn muscles and it was nothing real serious, so I got lucky there.
I haven't been injured in the outdoors as an adult, but when I was a kid and I would ride my bicycle, I used to go around the block and around the block. And one night I was riding and I rode over a sewer grate. The tire got stuck. I went over the handlebars and my knee went into the fender of the bike. And the nice homeowner that lived there came out and drove me home, and I had to go to the hospital and get stitches in my knee. But thank goodness that's the only injury.
That's a story.
Yeah. Next question. Do you practice any special survival techniques? Yes. I stay behind Mark.
And we always say the one that can run the fastest.
I just need to run faster than you.
I don't know. It depends on where you are and what you're doing. If you're going out in the wilderness, obviously you're going to take whatever methods you need.
You had a close encounter with a bear one time.
Yeah, but I never had any bear spray or anything. We took bear canisters with us that we'd keep our food in. As far as survival stuff, though, I always tell V when we went out on the motorcycle, I said we're always going to pack like we're going to encounter any weather condition conceivable. So we never left home without extra jackets, rain gear.
Right.
Because it could be a beautiful sunny day, 80 degrees, and next thing you know, the temperature drops down, it gets dark out, you're encountering freezing rain or frost or something, and you got to be prepared. So.
Oh, of course. And a biker girl, she wants to look cute on the back of your bike, but this wise old biker told me, don't ever leave without your jacket. Take your jacket. You may not need it, but it's good to have it. And I've learned that is always the case.
Yeah, yep.
Next question. What is your favorite recipe for cooking outside?
Ooh, boy. I don't know that I have any fabulous recipes, but I love cooking on the fire. I'll cook just about anything I can on the fire. We've cooked salmon over the fire. We've cooked steaks over the fire, burgers, like wrapping up stuff in tin foil and cooking it on the fire.
Bacon?
You you slice up potatoes and you put onions and green peppers and sausage in there and throw that on the fire for a couple hours. Yeah, bacon over the fire is good.
My favorite is whatever Mark cooks over the fire. I do the kitchen in the camper. He does over the fire.
Yeah.
Next question, how do you motivate yourself in bad weather? Well, living in Ohio, we had many months of bad weather. We have a rainy season, we have snow, we have cold, and you just have to go find the beauty. I was told by this wise man that there's just as much beauty in winter in the snow as there is in summer. And he is the reason that I go out in the winter. Because I used to just go in the summer, stay in and hibernate all winter. Now I go out and I see everything. I love seeing the animal tracks in the snow. I will walk around the yard. I will go any place to a park, and I love seeing the animal tracks. I even find coyote poop I know how to identify.
There's a good one. Yeah, I don't know that I'm so motivated, but I've had the pleasure of having a career with the park system, so many times in my career, part of my assignment was to hike into areas to look at different jobs or issues or natural resource issues. So it doesn't matter what the weather is. If that's your job assignment, you just do it. So, you put on the gear, the rain gear, whatever, throw your muck boots on if you have to, and you just go and do it. Yeah. And like V said, once you're out in the weather, it could be pouring down rain. It could be a severe thunderstorm. Of course, it's dangerous, but you're awestruck at the beauty of nature and just the power of it. And then being out in the snow, the quiet of being out in the snow, or seeing a snowstorm and just, all that snow coming down through the trees and stuff is just gorgeous. So.
I've been walking alone on trails in the snow, and I'll look over and there will be a deer standing there. I mean, it's just so peaceful and so many things to see. So that motivates me, nature.
Yep, absolutely.
Next question. Where would your dream trip be?
I don't know. We've talked about Alaska. I think that would be pretty cool.
I was going to say that would be my dream. I think there's so much to do up there just from watching Chris and G Travels. I mean, they do fishing and it just amazing, the scenery up there.
Denali. I mean, I'd love to see bears, all the wildlife up there, the moose, and just the wild Alaska. We've heard so much about it. We've seen so much on TV. We've watched so many of your guys' videos that have been to Alaska, and we would just love to experience that ourselves. So I think that's pretty much our dream trip.
Yes, maybe someday it would be cool to take the camper up there.
We've really never had any inclination to travel overseas anywhere, although that would open a whole nother realm of adventures. I think there's a lot that we would like to see right here in the United States.
I totally agree. And the last question, what is the heaviest piece of equipment you carry while hiking?
I think that's pretty cut and dried. That the camera gear is the heaviest, bulkiest, most awkward stuff to carry with you.
Right. And you got a backpack, so you put most of your stuff in a backpack.
Yeah, we load up the backpack. If you're doing longer hikes, though, and you're overnighting, I think probably the heaviest stuff you're going to carry is food. And you really have to be careful when you pack those rations that you're packing carefully and that you're taking, precautions to pack light, because that backpack gets heavy really quick if you're not careful. There's people that'll go so far overboard they'll cut their toothbrush in half, so they just have enough just to barely brush their teeth with, so they don't carry the extra weight of the handle.
Well, why would you even take a toothbrush? Just use your finger.
There you go. There's different ways you can look at it. But
I don't carry anything but my cell phone, and I put that in my back pocket.
yeah. So there you go. We've answered all of the 10 questions. Hope that was entertaining for you. Now we want to, and we were entertained listening to the Wanderland Travelers, Brad and Maggie, talk about the answers to their questions. So now we're interested to hear some of you guys. So
we'd like to nominate some of the other people that follow our channel, such as Rollin with the Bolens,
Tony and Jill,
Little Trailer, Big Adventure, Jeff and Cheryl, and Chicory's Travels. We would love to hear the answers to these questions from those channels.
Pick up your video camera.
And if you don't currently subscribe to these people, check out the Wanderland Travelers and the other 3 folks we mentioned. Check them out. You might like them. Subscribe.
That's it, cats.